Marvel Rivals has really taken it upon themselves to piss me off and take away all the layers and layers and layers and layers of character development that they've put years, literally fucking almost a century, into forming these characters. The only problem is the cuck that's gonna be watching you fuck his girlfriend. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month, bitch. It's time to fucking love women openly and shit, you know? Before we start, I want to say YouTube has been a dream of mine for a little bit of a long time. I've always wanted to do it. And now that I have the tools at my disposal to make things for you guys, I want to say that it is really appreciated when you guys come over and support me on this platform as well as on other platforms, because it really makes, it doesn't make the dreams be dreams. It makes the dreams, you know, come true and stuff. So I do have a Patreon, and if you want to see the completely uncensored, untailored, disgusting, degenerate, zero dignity, fucking horrible version of this video, then go subscribe over there. I'll post a version where I actually talk about my unfiltered list of girls that I would date. So before we get started, thank you so much for supporting me thus far, and let's get into it. Disclaimer, if you like girls, then this video is for you, or if you just want to window shop, that's fine too. It's Pride Month, fuck it. Be gay, I don't know. Penny Parker. Nope, I'm not ranking her. She barely turned 18. I'm not ranking her. I don't want to catch a case. If teen is at the end of your age, then mamacita, no. Like, we're not going to do that, bro, no. If I were to rank that, I just turned 25. I look at 18-year-olds and I'm just like, I wouldn't do that. When I was 18, I was a child, so nope, thank you. Hella. This woman is fucking just sexy. Like, we're starting off with her. I would frankly be honored to be the floor she walks on. Maybe I'm diminishing myself here, but I have this insane lack of self-respect for this specific character type, like evil characters. Why do I want to be their little plaything? Like, why am I sick? Like, all of these evil women have no regard for anybody but their mission. Like, I'm sick. Like, think about it. Evil women with no regard for anyone but their mission. Evil women who believe that everyone is completely below them. Evil women that relish in the power that they have over people. That shit really gets my fucking motor going. It gets the engine fucking lubricated, and we're ready to fucking go. And women with God complexes, like, we're fucking, it's there, bro. But maybe I just talk the talk too much, because in reality, I think these women would give me so much fucking panic to be just standing in front of them. I think I'd probably just like evaporate into dust. Or you can't evaporate into dust. I would just evaporate. After all, women are fucking scary sometimes. And I'm little, like I am 5 feet tall. How tall is this woman? I don't even know. Let's put that on the screen, like a scale comparison of her height versus mine. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay, I think that Hella genuinely looks down on everything and everyone. She is fucking murder incarnate. I don't think she'd be interested in any way, shape, or form in any type of relationship. She's like a nun, but instead of being married to Jesus, she's married to murder. Holy fuck, I can't believe I wrote that. Her idea of right and wrong doesn't look anything like most people's. Mercy isn't really in her nature. She makes decisions based on power, survival, not compassion. That's for stupid little peasant people. If you're someone who holds tightly to your morals, it could be hard watching how easily she can hurt or destroy people. And also kind of hot, but the way she would do it without hesitation, what a fucking power move. I don't think she would be the kind of person to show affection either. Like, can you imagine her hugging you? That's so weird. Not interested at all, like zero, because all this woman cares about is her greater purpose of being the sole ruler of everything and everyone. So would she be a good girlfriend? No, dude, absolutely fucking not. She 100% totally fucks, but she's a trash girlfriend. She would be a trash wife. She would only be interested in dominating over you. And I mean, she would take great pleasure in that shit. You want to beg for her? Yeah, definitely. She would totally be down for that. But besides from that, no fucking chance. You are not her equal. You are not going to best her in any way, shape, or form. You cannot make her submit. This is not the kind of woman you can make submit. I don't want to make her submit. You know what? I'm just going to watch respectfully from the closet. That's all I'm going to do. Oh, God. Hella is going to go on C, because I always reserve C tier for evil motherfuckers who want to take over the world. And she definitely wants to take over the world. Magic is just my type, fucking exactly. Pansexual, baddie bitch, blonde, emo, tormented and troubled. Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah. Fuck, just a round of applause for this beautiful character. But really though, emotionally, she is just complicated, like really complicated. I mean, she's got one of the most traumatic and twisted backstories in the entire X-Men universe. Like, this girl was dragged into limbo as a child She was raised by demons. She became the queen of hell before she even hit puberty and somehow still made it back to Earth with a little bit of her soul intact. Like, damn, girl, what the fuck? And somebody earlier today brought up a point that trauma doesn't have to define you. It doesn't define you, but it does shape you. And it can be hard for her. She's very just guarded. She's very closed off. And I feel like intimacy could be hard for her, not just physically, but emotionally too. She's just used to handling things by herself. She doesn't need anybody. And you might get moments of warmth with Magic, but it's so rare. It's so rare because she's very cynical. She's carrying this massive weight of isolation and internal conflict, part demon, part mutant, constantly walking on this tightrope between who she wants to be and what she's afraid she really is. So that makes her a really sarcastic and closed off person. She is the sassiest person in the Marvel Rivals universe right now because every interaction is her just like digging into someone. The only person who has met her match is fucking Moon Knight because they're both dogging on each other so hard. Why do all the baddies have to be so fucking fine? But you have to accept Magic doesn't want a relationship. She's also not looking to be saved. Over the years, I've realized that you can't change other people. They have to want to change themselves. If you want to be in a relationship with somebody who is perfect, then you'll never be in a fucking relationship. Let's just go to my little corner. This is Weka's dating advice. Welcome. You can't change your partner. So what can you do? It's really about offering a safe space for your partner to recognize their problems in a relationship and letting them make the mistakes necessary to learn how to advance productively in the relationship. If you want your significant other to recognize behavior such as reluctance to open up or be vulnerable, then you can't shun them for who they are because at the end of the day, you chose them as your partner, which means that you signed up for the whole package. If that is their original instinct, then that is a part of who they are. All you can really do is bring it up to them if it bothers you. If they want to change that, then they will mobilize that behavior and enact change in their own life. That's how you know they want to progress. And at the end of the day, it's about both parties being happy, both parties being content, and the love that you have for each other, but sometimes it takes time.
Love takes time, and love takes work.
Would Magic be a good girlfriend? She hasn't had a love interest since the 80s, and she's not really open about wanting a relationship. She's had little flirty exchanges here and there throughout the years, but honestly, she's just been solo dolo this whole time. She is not looking for anything. She does not want anything. I don't think she would be fit for a relationship. She is emotionally unavailable. Magic is gonna go on B. Same thing with Cloak. Attached to her mans all the time. Do you understand that? This woman might just be a 10 in every respect, but the fact that she can't separate from her best friend / love interest / partner, and that's a problem with anyone. Side note, holy shit, have you guys fucking realized that there's so many men in Marvel Rivals with split personalities or 2 different bodies and shit? This is the closest we get to that on the women's sides, so interesting. Let me just put this into perspective. You got trust issues? Well, boy, oh boy, are you ready to experience those at full force in every direction possible? Because having a third wheel in your relationship that looks like that is wild in every sense imaginable. She trusts him the most. He's the one she's closest with. No one is more important in her life. So get ready for fucking second place. Like, you're done, you're cooked. Tandy, though, is a very sweet, considerate person. She's a healer. She's inherently good. She's used to working as part of a team. And that isn't a problem with her in the slightest. The only problem is the cuck that's gonna be watching you fuck his girlfriend. And there's nothing wrong with her. She's perfect. It's just that teeny tiny little detail that could turn into a big little detail if you're cool with sitting in a chair in the fucking corner, or Cloak sitting in the chair watching. But to each their own. So would she be a good girlfriend? Very simple and to the point. Unless you want to be a throuple, this wouldn't be the ideal relationship to pursue. Keep that in mind. Cloak and Dagger, I put her in front of Magic for this one reason. Being in a throuple is definitely better than being with somebody who doesn't want to be in a relationship, which is why this is the logic that I've put them here. I fucking love Natasha, so allow me to get all my little thoughts out, okay? Let me have my little yap session. So this version of Natasha, the Marvel Rivals version of Natasha, is cold, which is sort of uncharacteristic in a few ways, because for this version of her, the Red Room didn't have the usual effect it has on her. In this timeline, she is the Red Room's headmistress, which I find crazy. It's not something we've seen before in Marvel. The Red Room is almost always fucking awful. It literally brainwashes and castrates and traumatizes little girls into becoming becoming spy assassins for the government. So I find it to be an interesting choice. Really wasn't expecting that, but maybe it's a nice change and a different adaptation of Black Widow. And there is an emphasis on that for me, because being in charge of something like the Red Room means that you'd have to make a few changes to it. I don't think that Natasha, being who she is, would keep the up practices of castrating little girls in the Red Room, and I really hope that it changed into something better and that we get a little more elaboration on how it is now. But based just on Natasha's strong innate sense of justice, I think that it would in fact change. Maybe. She's not a bad fucking person. We know that much. She used to be a cold-blooded assassin in her youth for the Red Room, and now it seems like she's trying to turn a new leaf. You can hear that in her interactions and in her voice lines throughout the game.
The cruelty that men are capable of, it never fails to astonish me.
Reminds me of my childhood.
Regretfully, I can relate to that sentiment.
Then how about we put all our pent-up trauma to good use and shut this place down?
So it's also important to note that this version of Natasha has been given the super soldier serum and has lived for over 100 years or something. And you can tell that she's tired. I don't know how to explain it, but she even mentions it in some of her interactions that she's felt every single day. And when I hear something like that, I interpret it as she's maybe just a little teensy weensy little bit depresso espresso. Because unlike the Nat from the MCU, she lacks that deeply inherent romanticism about her. And I'm not talking about flirtiness or any of that. I'm talking about that softness that she has to her. This Natasha is not soft. She's colder, more measured. Not to mention, she's a fucking boss lady bitch that manages the Red Room. So what would she be like as a girlfriend? I think that she would be difficult to be with. I think that she just really has too much on her plate, because some of these characters, will save the world at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and then come home to their families and make them dinner. But you actually have to be super fucking mentally ill to be able to keep that kind of lifestyle. And personally, from what I see, she feels burdened with these responsibilities. And after all of the shit that she was forced to partake in, I feel like she feels an obligation that she wants to settle a debt or something. She's troubled, and I'm gonna say it. I don't think that she would be open to a romantic relationship, maybe something to take the edge off a little bit. I think that she's in the process of just being a person and healing, even if the healing takes decades or, I don't know, another century. Personally, I wouldn't go for Black Widow, and I'll tell you why. This has got too much on her plate. She's the hottest redhead on the planet. I am foaming at the mouth when I see her, but you gotta be real. You gotta be real. Black Widow goes on B, baby. B for Black Widow. Thunder Thigh Mommy used to be a little bit of a villain back in the day, but she's since been through her redemption arc and works alongside Charles Xavier to push his vision of unity between mutants and humans. This is the Emma Frost that we got in Marvel Rivals. And honestly, those are the kinds of characters that I love. Morally gray. A little. But it's always interesting. Emma is like a darker version of Mantis with her telepathic powers. She's confident, seductive, unapologetically herself, and she's so full of herself, bro, and she's a total diva. On top of that, she's just so smart. She knows it. She's rich as shit too, like part of the 1%, this woman. But would she be a good girlfriend? Well, she has a little bit of a type. She particularly has a little fixation for Tony Stark because he matches her in so many ways. So just take a listen to this.
Nice gal, Emma. The Hellfire Trading Company must be doing well.
Indeed, though we are always seeking new partners, particularly wealthy, handsome ones.
So we know her type. Extremely wealthy, business savvy, charismatic men like Tony Stark. That's the formula. If you're not that, she would not be a good girlfriend for you. If you don't meet her standards, you're cooked. I know this type of woman because I am this type of woman, okay? She's the type of woman who likes fancy dinners, who likes dressing up, who likes lavish gifts, who likes grand gestures. And that's the woman who Emma Frost is. And if you can't give her that, then she's not going to settle for less than what she believes that she deserves. So start fucking investing in crypto because that's apparently what she likes, and she's a fucking material girl. Emma Frost is gonna go on B. This woman is intimidating, but also she's so like ooh-woo. I don't know how to even describe it or how to explain it. She's also the strong, silent type. Psylocke is it just hits in this nice little spot. She's a really good character. And first and foremost, just to clarify, if you're a big Marvel fan, then you know that this Psylocke isn't your regular run-of-the-mill Psylocke. She isn't two people. She isn't Betsy or Quanon. This version of Psylocke is Psy from Demon Days, and it was created in 2021 by Peach Momoko and Zach Davidson. The gist of her story, she's a mercenary in Japan, traveling with her wolf dog, Logan, and she ends up making a pact with an Oni named Hulkumaru, Hulk, to take down Orochi in her universe, which is her version of Venom, who's been terrorizing the mountain village. So that's the vibe. It's pretty old-timey wimey. I like it. It's good, it's solid, it's different for Psylocke. Psylocke is a character that a lot of people love. And this version of Psylocke was so well received that they brought her into Marvel Rivals. And in this version, they kept that strong, silent aura intact. She's super focused, she's deeply disciplined, she's definitely not impulsive. Honestly, she's kind of a tight ass in conversation, not in a bad way, just very mission oriented. It's not that she's cold, it's just that she's not interested in small talk and she's always in her own world. And she's also missing home. She's very homesick. There's this almost sadness about her that lingers, and she never says it out loud, but Mantis actually has a line about it in-game that hits pretty hard. Subtle, pretty subtle. But that moment gives you a peek into how much Psy carries with her emotionally, even if she doesn't show it. So would she be a good girlfriend then? Based on this characterization of Psylocke, she would likely be very reserved, closed off, emotionally unavailable type. I feel like emotional vulnerability probably doesn't come to her naturally at all. This relationship would be a slow burn if you chose to go after it, because she would come to trust you, but it is not something that'll come easily, and I'm talking fucking years. And you'd have to be incredibly patient. You'd have to be okay with the long silences and the subtle cues, instead of these big romantic gestures or a lot of open communications. So she can very much seem distant, and it's not because she doesn't care or anything, but it's because she's always carrying the weight of everything on her shoulders. And honestly, everybody in this fucking list is, so do with that as you will. And at the top of B is Psylocke. I don't feel like she really wants to be in a relationship. She's very, 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 very vigilant, very alert at all times. She would be nice. That's why she goes at the top of B, because B just means be patient, right? Emotionally unavailable, be patient. This one was one of the hardest ones to write here, because this woman is literally a goddess. Like, what the fuck? Holy mama, just fucking look at her. She's so fucking powerful. But okay, first and foremost, Ororo is a fucking queen. That's her name. And in this timeline, she's a protector of Arako, and that's a lot of responsibility. She's the type of woman to really hanker down and problem solve, you know? She doesn't play any games. She's straight and to the point. This type of woman commands a dominance in a way, and she carries herself in the way that she talks to others. Even with everything around her falling apart, she stays fucking grounded. Even when she's flying, she's calm. She's a girl boss. So we've never really gotten a lot of romantical context from her in Marvel Rivals, but she's had a few relationships in the comics before, like with T'Challa and Logan. But they've never been a defining aspect of her character, in my opinion. She really isn't interested in a lot of romantic connections in my eyes, because she has little time for that. Storm, at the end of the day, stands alone. She doesn't get paired often because her narrative is the strongest when it stands on its own. Would she be a good girlfriend? Let me get into this. Storm would be extremely involved in a relationship with the right persons. She seems very good at a relationship, but there seems to be a prerequisite on things that you need to meet to be with her. As long as that person has the best interests of X-Men at heart and you side with her, you're good. I also feel that Storm wouldn't be too attached to you all the time. She would be more withdrawn, more focused on her duties, especially this version that's all fucking business all the time. We have seen in the comics that during her marriage, she would defend T'Challa to no end when they were together. But when their relationship broke, because by the way, it was such a bullshit way because the writers didn't see a purpose in them being together anymore, they got divorced. They got divorced because T'Challa declared the X-Men his enemy, and as a result, fucking annulled their marriage without her even knowing. Like, what a dick! Their loyalties lied with their respective nations or groups before their relationship. X-Men before husband. You know? But besides that, she's still very amicable with him, and she's very respectful despite their history. Storm is really tricky to rank because of all of these conflicting factors. Like, we know she can be a very devoted partner, but I think that you won't often be the leading focus of her life unless you are a mutant or a god or whatever the fuck. You just have to be on her level. You know? Thank you. Storm is gonna go on A because she has this complicated history to her, and I feel that everything factors into that. So with everything that she has to deal with and with everything that she has to do, she has been in relationships in the past that have worked, and she would be a good partner. But it's just a matter of fact that she's too busy. Marvel Rivals has really taken it upon themselves to piss me off and take away all the layers and layers and layers and layers of character development that they've put years, literally fucking almost a century, into forming these characters. So let's get started talking about Scarlet Witch from Wish, or Temu if you're young and don't know what Wish is. I really wish they had represented the women on this list as more emotional and flawed instead of perfect little copies of these characters. It's like an AI recreation of the character. Is insane. But okay, this version of Scarlet Witch is a lot more optimistic. Weird, huh? And she's